hey there. So that certain nameless person has become so desperate in their arguments now that, get this, in filings they're saying, well, what about JD's charitable donations? What is he giving away to people? See, essentially that nameless person can explain away headlines like this, talking about $7 million in divorce settlements, $7 million that was supposed to go to charity. But when JD's team started asking for proof, the thing the mainstream media didn't do, by the way, you got stonewalling at first, and then you got revelations like this from the CHLA saying the check, it had never been in the mail. See, despite Team Nameless and their mainstream media shills trying to play this off at first, saying this was nothing but a goof, maybe you misunderstood the words, well, apparently they're finding that position more and more indefensible. Something about defrauding sick children with cancer, yeah, that doesn't play well. So, of course, they try to flip the script. Now, you and I, we're going to look at that argument, the document it's attached to, and so much more. Maybe, just maybe, this isn't a good hill for that nameless person to try to make a stand on. See, JD, he's gone as far as to take characters out of retirement, ones that Disney won't pay him for, mind you, to make sure that he can visit children. Her? Well, we'll talk about that. Fun times, huh? Fun times indeed. So hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And I swear, if every bad argument that nameless person brought out actually turned into money one day, well, I definitely would have the grill of my dreams. See, that nameless person, they have made some, how do I put this nicely, questionable arguments over the last year. But this document here, it really takes the prize. Defendant and counterclaim plaintiff, that nameless person's memorandum in support of motion to compel responses to 11th and 12th requests for production of documents to plaintiff and counterclaim defendant JD. Now, if you find yourself asking, why exactly make these types of arguments? Well, really, it's all about trying to minimize damage. Whether that damage was due to cancellation, hitting someone's career, you can see that brought up right here. That nameless person requests JD's contracts, agreements, and compensation documents for his recent films, including any potential films made by Disney, his marketing campaign with Christian Dior and Savage, basically trying to prove that, hey, that nameless person, they didn't cause all of this mess. See, when you get down to it, this is one of maybe 3 prongs in the overall defense strategy for that nameless person. Minimizing damages. I didn't cause that. You can see this spelled out right here. During negotiations over the scope of the subpoena, this is Disney talking about being subpoenaed, by the way, it became clear that they're talking about that nameless person's strategy was to show that Disney did not have documents showing a link between that nameless person's public statements and JD's career, so to minimize damages. So, you have that, you also have whataboutism, and you have delay. Now, speaking to that idea, whataboutism, this document, it pulls out all the stops. Why? Because you can't minimize certain damages. You can say, I didn't do damage, but when you're caught in a lie, saying, hey, I gave away $7 million, well, no, I didn't really, then it becomes about, well, what did that guy really do? I mean, when you listen to this argument, too, I'm going to read you this part. It's not long, but just listen to the way that it's framed. It has nothing to do with the argument that JD is presenting either, but don't let that get in the way, right? So documents identifying JD's charitable donations. So that nameless person requested documents sufficient to reflect JD's charitable donations from 2010 to the present. Isn't that amazing, by the way? You bring up that nameless person's divorce settlement, $7 million awarded in 2016, where you have all of that supposedly going to charity. How is that that answered, well, I want to know anything this guy's ever done as far as charity is concerned. JD has demonstrated obsession with that nameless person's pledges to charitable donations. Although we continue to assert relevance objections, it is relevant, by the way. The judge has made that clear, including with this court an extensive third-party discovery. What they're saying right there, by the way, is what they had to do with the ACLU. They had to take it all the way to the New York Supreme Court because these folks, they are in it and they are in it deep. JD's counsel has repeatedly publicly accused that nameless person of depriving, quote-unquote, sick children with cancer of charitable donations. That's exactly what it is, by the way. The CHLA not getting their money. What do you think they do? They provide services for sick children. This is where the whataboutism comes into play, where basically they're hoping they can find anything where they can shame JD, and they do this by trying to connect it to that $7 million. JD has also claimed he donated $200,000 of the $7 million divorce settlement to the ACLU and to the Children's Hospital, that would be the CHLA, thus putting his donations to those entities at issue to clear up whether these are properly credited to JD or to that nameless person. So they want to bring it in, but you look at the wording here, they're not actually denying he did it. Why? Because he made the initial payments. So that's the way the divorce settlement's set up. He had to. They want to know whether that was credited to that nameless person. Okay, say you get credit for that. Where's the other $3 million plus? Then that nameless person tries the whataboutism yet again, having the sheer audacity to pretend they're the good person in all of this, saying basically, that 2010 to present information we asked for, well, we're going to limit that. We want to limit it to 2 organizations. And of course they do, by the way, because when you start talking about his charity versus her charity, you're going to have a real problem. During the meet and confers, that nameless person suggested compromise by limiting these requests to JD's charitable donations to the ACLU and to the CHLA, along with JD agreeing he would not testify at trial whether he donated anywhere else. You catch that last part there. They don't want him talking about charity and good works that he does because that might humanize him and it might make that nameless person look any worse. JD refused to agree to this compromise, including refusing to even agree JD would not testify at trial to the very discovery he claims is irrelevant. You can't have it both ways. I mean, imagine the desperation that birthed all of this, making them think like this. This makes you look like a good person. There's more to this argument too. Much more. I might break this down in another video, but I wanted to show you the whataboutism because it is crazy when you see it on display. That's that nameless person though. Like I said, that's their entire defense strategy these days. Pointing the finger, delay, and try to minimize damages. Yeah, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. But anyway, let me know what you think about all of this stuff. And as always, appreciate the heck out of you. You make this stuff work, so thank you. Cannot say that enough. Thank you. I appreciate you. Also, links in the description. They help us out. Appreciate that sincerely as well. But you being here, that helps most of all. So thank you. I appreciate you. Ending here. See you soon.